Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I decided to do some sniping on No Shark Canals with the L96. I normally don't snipe with the bolt actions in this game. I find them to be very entertaining, but not very useful. And if I'm going to put my try-hard pants on, I'm usually going to be using the semi-automatic rifles. I find them to be a lot more useful. They give you a lot more room for error. It's harder for the enemy to kind of dodge your shots because there's a lot more going down range. And just in general, they're a lot more competitive weapons compared to the bolt actions. But that being said, I have a round like today where I go on just a ridiculous kill streak. This entire match, or this entire video for today, is one streak from the beginning to the end, and I don't even know how many kills I get. I lost count. I didn't even bother trying to count because I get that many kills, and it was unbelievable how well I was doing. So, you know, I just said that I find the bolt actions to be not as useful as the semis or really any of the weapons in the game, but then I have a match like this that completely contradicts my viewpoint, and I start to wonder, was I right with my assumption? I am. I still feel like that they're not very good, but still, when you're able to just be on fire like this, man, is it exciting. So as you guys will see in today's video, I'm not really going around Rambo style by any means. I used to do that when the game was released. I found it to be very exciting, and I always wanted to see if I could quickscope in Battlefield. And this was even before the change to the one-shot kill for the upper chest shot. I was running around with the L96 trying to get headshots up close, and it was extremely exciting, but also just very frustrating and nerve-wracking. I would try to get gameplay, I would try to get footage of me running around with, you know, the L96 getting headshots up close, and while I could do it, it took a very long time to accumulate clips, and in general, it just, you know, it was fun when you were able to do it, but during the process of getting those gameplay clips, it was also infuriating. So for today, I pretty much just avoided those situations as much as I could. I mean, every once in a while, I did push up on the enemy team to try to get a better vantage point or to try to kind of flank them. But if I got into a tight spot, I knew a lot of enemies were gonna round the corner, I pretty much just avoided that. I was like, all right, I'm gonna GTFO. There's no reason for me to be here right now, so I would kind of kite back, get into a new spot, and try to snipe them from range because there's just way too many advantages of using this weapon at a distance. First of all, a good example is you'll see in this video, if people do fire at me, the suppression effect isn't going to hamper my accuracy as much as it does up close. I mean, the suppression effect for bolt action rifles, I think, is one of the most ridiculous things in this game. Honestly, I think I've said this in a previous video many months ago, but the suppression effect has way too large of an impact on bolt action rifles simply because one shot can mean the difference between life and death, and if you do get suppressed heavily on a recon, you're pretty much toast. I mean, if they round the corner, they're gonna kill you because you're suppressed, and if they're off in the distance trying to take pot shots off you, and if you're suppressed heavily, there's no way for you to line up a headshot even if your crosshairs are directly on the target. It's a very annoying thing about the game. So pretty much I just avoid those situations as much as possible. If I do get suppressed, I would go behind cover, but one way to also get around that is just to be at a distance because the suppression effect isn't as large as if the further and further the target is away from you because their bullets are deviating a lot more at those distances. But if I did get into a tight spot and I noticed that an enemy was just about to round the corner, I would switch on over to my crossbow, and I love the crossbow. I posted a video recently where I exclusively used it on a couple of maps and went on some amazing kill streaks with just that and my knife, and I think it suits the recon class very well. I don't use it very often in today's video, but that was because I was trying to keep people at a distance and I was trying to avoid those confrontations. But if you do get into a tight spot, switching on over to that tool instead of having the MAV or the tugs can dispatch enemies a lot faster and a lot more efficiently than just switching on over to your pistol, at least in my opinion. And I know that some people will argue that the MAV and the tugs are better suited for the recon class simply because the information that you get with it is just so valuable. And I do agree with you. And but because I'm playing TDM and because this map is so close quarter, I figured that I think that this is an appropriate map for this type of setup. So now that we are nearing the end of this very long streak, I wanted to ask you guys before I go, what do you do to keep Battlefield 3 fresh? One of the things I do is what I'm doing in today. I jump into a team deathmatch, I jump into a match, I use the bolt-action sniper and try to get as many kills as I possibly can and have fun with it. And I also do my terrible weapon challenge series where I'll use some crazy setup like crossbow only or the FAMAS with its iron sights, something to make it challenging, something to keep it fresh and interesting. So I want to know what do you guys do to make Battlefield 3 fun? Or do you find using the M16A3 every single time is fun and enjoyable? Or do you like to try and jump into a vehicle that you hardly ever use? Let me know down below in the comment section. I'm definitely curious. So here at the end, I admittedly was making some pretty dumb mistakes. I was shooting at people I shouldn't have. My accuracy was off, and shots that I normally should have been making and shots I was making at the start of the match weren't lining up at the end, and that was because I was getting a little nervous. I was getting a little excited. I couldn't believe how long the streak was lasting, and I was just making dumb mistakes because my hand was kind of shaking a little bit. It happens every once in a while, and in my head, I was like, someone needs to just end this. They need to round the corner. They need to do something because I don't even know what to do with myself at this point. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and that about wraps everything up. So until next time, everyone, have a good one and take it easy.